Hi, I'm Chuck Myron,
And I'm his wife, Taryn Myron.
and we're married to Saturdays.
Married to Saturdays.
All right, so week 4.
Welcome back.
Now we're getting into late September.
Late September.
We really should be back at school, and some more learning to do about the teams.
Yes, exactly.
So, let's get started, huh?
Okay.
All right, let's take a look at the noon games.
Okay.
All right.
Here's the games you should be watching.
Right. The Texas Tech at Utah is going to be the 12 o'clock, the big noon Fox game.
Ooh.
And a big find it out game about the Big 12.
Yes.
Two teams trailing Iowa State in the rankings, but with an opportunity to move up, maybe vault Iowa State if one of them looks impressive against the other.
Yes, definitely. I think, again, these teams are really evenly matched. They have similar records. So I'm really interested to see how they play against each other. One team is going to deserve their spot in the top 25. The other is not.
Well,
in my opinion.
Coming into the season, you had a little more hype about Texas Tech than you did against Utah.
Yes.
But I think to this point, they played really evenly. So I think that sets up for a really good matchup. Of course, early.
Yes, early
for those Central and Mountain Time zone schools. So
set your alarms.
Yeah, exactly. For that one. So. That is at noon on Fox, and then I want to throw out a really interesting unranked game that's a game between two unranked teams. ESPN noon, Syracuse at Clemson.
Ooh, Battle of the Orange.
Right.
But not the real orange. The Tennessee Orange is the real orange.
Exactly. Battle of the orange. You glad you aren't one of them.
Right.
If you're Tennessee, right? So. And the reason that looks as intriguing as it does is Syracuse has bounced back as won its last two games after losing to Tennessee. Clemson, of course, has fallen, and will they be able to get up?
Yes.
That's the thing.
They lost to LSU. They lost to Georgia Tech last week. They also struggled against Troy. So we don't know what kind of team this Clemson team is.
And I think we go a long way toward finding that out, see how they respond at home against a credible opponent in Syracuse.
Absolutely.
And it's important for Tennessee, right? Because strength of schedule, that win against Syracuse looks that much better if they can win on the road at Clemson.
So for Florida State, I'm pulling for Clemson to win because it's supposed to be one of our toughest games this year, and we don't play Syracuse this year. So for Florida State perspective, we're pulling for Clemson to win. Are we? We are.
Yeah.
It's really hard to cheer for Clemson.
Strange bedfellow.
Yes.
Right? Of course, the game I'll be watching is UAB Tennessee at 12:45.
Yes.
In that early time slot.
And how does Tennessee bounce back?
Right? If it's a sluggish performance, that doesn't augur well, right?
Yes.
It doesn't say a lot about how this team responds, but if they come out there and control it from start to finish,
blow them out.
and that's one step along that journey that Tennessee has to take to really, take the lessons and apply them from the Georgia game.
Yes.
So we shall see.
Yes.
That one, 12:45 SEC Network.
I'm sure you'll be watching that very closely.
Very closely. Then 3:30, we've got your team, Florida State, at home against Kent State.
Yep, we're going to keep on rolling. I'm ready to get into some ACC play. We found out that Squirrel White is going to be back. He was out with an injury, so he's going to be back.
The Tennessee transfer wide receiver.
Yes. So we have this little banter going on about Squirrel White. He's now at the right school, by the way. He just, he didn't fit in with Heupel's offense, so he fits in better with Gus Malzahn, his offense. However, all that aside, he will be back. We have a couple other injured players that should be back, hopefully for Virginia. So we're just going to look to roll against Kent State.
And that's Virginia coming up on Friday in week 5.
Yes.
But this one, the last sort of breather, maybe, hopefully.
Yes.
Florida State has before they start getting back into some more Power 4 opponents.
Yes.
So that one is at 3:30. It will be on ACC Network.
Mm-hmm.
But probably the biggest game in that 3:30 window is in the SEC on ABC. Auburn goes to Oklahoma.
Ooh, and this is a game that we've been really looking forward to because we're going to see where Auburn is.
Well, look, Auburn was at the bottom of the league last year. Oklahoma was middle of the pack, very mediocre. Had some injury concerns. Of course, now they have John Mateer.
Yes.
Different looking team, and they have a chance to. I don't know if a win over Auburn proves all that much, but they have a chance to do something to separate themselves from that ambiguous secondary SEC pack.
That Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss. Yes.
Yes, that group there. And so I think, look, it's an opportunity for Oklahoma, but also an opportunity for Auburn to say, wait a second, look, we're remade. We
belong.
Right?
Do they belong?
I have my doubts, but we'll find out. 3:30.
You hear that,
ABC.
Auburn fans? He's doubting you. He's doubting your team.
Listen, every Iron Bowl, I'm right there with Auburn, right?
Right.
Every Tennessee fan is, so
Most fans in the country are with Auburn in the Iron Bowl because you either love Alabama or you hate Alabama, and there's usually not an in between.
Right. So look, Auburn is we're in their corner at least once a year. I just could they would it be nice to see them get it done here against Oklahoma? Sure. But, I think it's a tough bridge to cross for him. So, we'll see.
We'll find out.
Also, in that window, Tulane, coming off their win against Duke, goes to Ole Miss. That one, 3:30 ESPN.
I have Ole Miss on a slight upset alert on this one. Slight.
I mean, Tulane has that's been a leading Group of 5 program over the last few years.
They have.
I going into Oxford is I think it's a bit different from
yes.
tangling.
It's a very difficult place to play.
Yeah, Oxford and Durham, two different football environments there. I think Mississippi gets it done.
Okay, I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying slight possibility of an upset.
Again, a very tough bridge to cross there for Tulane. 3:30 is also the start time for Michigan at Nebraska, CBS game.
Is a great game. Michigan is going to be getting into their Big Ten schedule at this point. And who is Nebraska?
Well, Nebraska has certainly not been the kind of Big Ten powerhouse that maybe we thought they might be when they joined the conference.
Right.
But it's a credible opponent, and Michigan has to show, kind of like Tennessee has to show, that they can take the lessons from the loss to Georgia. Michigan has to show, and in particular Bryce Underwood has to show that he's learned from that experience, losing to Oklahoma. Now, an opportunity to get it going in Big Ten play, which is I think what really matters for Michigan right now.
I agree with you. I think Michigan needs to win this game if they want to even think about the postseason or potentially contending for a Big Ten championship. It starts here with Nebraska.
Yeah, and very important game for a team with legitimate playoff aspirations.
Absolutely.
So, Michigan can't stub its toe right here with an opportunity. They do have an opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. So we shall see.
Absolutely.
And then in that same window, it's a loaded 3:30
it
window.
It really is.
Purdue at Notre Dame, 3:30 NBC.
Ooh. Now this is an interesting one. Purdue is not generally very good, but Notre Dame is 0-2.
Notre Dame's 0-2. We, have seen them go up against pretty good teams.
Yes.
In Miami and Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. But, Purdue was down there with Florida State last year.
Yes, I said if there was a postseason for losers, we would have played them or Mississippi State last year.
The Blunder Bowl.
In the Blunder Bowl.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think this is a get well opportunity for Notre Dame.
Yes. So sometimes those 2-10 teams can surprise, as we all found out.
Although last year, right around this time, This is when Notre Dame stumbled against Northern Illinois.
That's right.
So certainly anything can happen.
Yes.
All right, so you've got that, and then 4:30 CW start. Temple goes to Georgia Tech.
Ooh. I mean, I think Georgia Tech will not have a problem with Temple.
No.
But
Well,
I like it. You should definitely watch it, though.
Temple coming off their home win at a home game against Oklahoma. Now another power team in Georgia. Oklahoma.
Oh.
Yeah. So right? You Oklahoma. So I think Temple is not going to be a challenge for
right.
Georgia Tech.
That's
Georgia
right.
Tech looks like potentially an ACC contender.
Yes. They've definitely got that potential.
Well,
The hype's all around them right now.
all right. So they have to take care of business.
Yes.
So that one at 4:30. Okay, getting into the night games. Here's an interesting one. Okay, 7:00 ESPN has South Carolina going to Missouri.
Ooh.
So that's the Battle of the Columbias
Yes.
in Columbia, Missouri.
Yes.
And this South Carolina. Now we don't know if Sellers is going to play, but what can we expect from South Carolina after they just fell on their face against Vanderbilt?
I think South Carolina's, if they're going to win or lose, it completely depends on whether or not Sellers is healthy and he plays.
It sure looked like it against Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just when he went out, that just just completely took the air out of the balloon.
Yes. I hope Shane Beamer and his staff have a plan and have a good plan if Sellers is not healthy and does not come back. So we'll see how that game looks. And we don't know much about Missouri, so it's a good test for them as well.
Yeah. Right, exactly. A chance for Missouri maybe to, maybe
get
not
to that-
make a statement win, but
maybe
at least
the second tier SEC, maybe.
they have that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in order to do that, they've got to be able to take care of really a wounded, team right here.
Yes.
So you got to step on them when they're down.
Yes.
That's how this works.
Right.
So 7:30 ABC. Speaking of teams that are wounded, Florida
Oh, are they wounded?
goes to Miami.
Oh boy. This is a hard one for me as a Florida State fan because I dislike both of your teams. However, which one do I dislike more? Well, that's easy. Florida. So, as a Florida State fan, I'm going to be pulling for Miami. Not saying they're going to win, but that's who I'm pulling for. But they're playing Miami in Miami.
Well, look, I think your rooting interests also align with your brain here because
Okay.
look, Miami has been has looked every bit the part of a national championship contender
They
so
really
far this
have.
season. Carson Beck looks like the Georgia Carson Beck.
Yes.
I mean, he looks none the worse for wear after that shoulder injury last year
Mhm.
in the playoffs. Look, I think Miami should not have any trouble against a Florida team that is lost. Talked about that
Yes.
in our podcast earlier this week. That's a program that's lost right now.
It really is.
And obviously they have so many opportunities to right themselves, but they just don't appear to be capable of that. And it's a really tough schedule. You have to wonder about scheduling all of these teams that are there's luck involved because this is
Sure.
certainly not might be the best Miami team we've seen, maybe in a couple of decades.
I was going to say maybe since 2002 or 2003, possibly.
So, look, Florida is catching them at the wrong time, but, it's just such a challenging slate for them, and I can't imagine that Florida is gonna be able to pull the upset. Of course, they have that opportunity, and that's the thing. So, we shall see on Saturday night.
Also, from an ACC perspective, a Florida State perspective, we want Miami to win because, again, that really hypes up that game for October 4th, the big showdown between Florida State and Miami. So win against Florida for Miami would look good for us. And the ACC needs those teams to stay in the top. We need good representation for the ACC. So Miami, it's on you to beat the Gators, and
Yeah.
then we'll get them. Tennessee and Florida State will get them at the end of the year too.
Every opportunity that the ACC gets to get one over on the SEC, they have to take advantage.
They need
We've
it.
seen that before,
They need it.
as you well know.
Yes.
So, all right. So, also 7:30. All right. NBC has Illinois at Indiana.
Now this is a huge game. I think it's been a little underrated, this game, but I really think it's huge. We don't know anything about Illinois. We don't know anything about Indiana. This is a border war, and we're going to find out who's the better team. Who belongs in this Big Ten championship hunt?
Look, so you think about the Big Ten. Last year, Indiana was a playoff team.
Yes.
And they had 4 slots in the playoffs. So this year again, you think, okay, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, class of the Big Ten. Who comes in behind them? Who's the next team? Illinois wants to take from Indiana what Indiana had last year. Illinois is the team with the hype coming into the season.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Bielema with the win over South Carolina in the bowl game.
Yes.
I
think that kind of propelled them to this preseason ranking.
Yes, but does it bear out when they get into the Big Ten and they have to play a team that I think is looking up at Illinois and wondering, well, hey, wait a second, we proved it. Why we proved it on the field last year? Why
Made it
aren't
to the playoffs.
we ranked as highly as Illinois is?
And what world is this that we're talking about Indiana and Illinois both ranked in a marquee matchup? Oh, times have changed.
Well, that shows that's what the playoff does. Is
Yes.
It makes a game like this relevant.
Yes.
In a 14 playoff world, it wouldn't have much bearing because you think, well, look, they're never going to overcome the Oregons, the Ohio States, the Penn States of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not gonna happen.
Right.
But now you have the opportunity of one of those teams to make the playoffs, and for this to be a launching pad for them toward that.
Yes.
So I think that's what makes this an intriguing game.
Me too. I'm very excited about this game. It's definitely one you should watch.
All right. So then. Also at 7:30. This is an interesting one. Georgia State at Vanderbilt, ESPNU.
Okay. Tell me why you think that's interesting.
Look, Vanderbilt looks the part of a team that can that can be almost in that playoff conversation in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, they've got a long way to go to get there, but they certainly looked great against South Carolina.
Oh, absolutely.
A wounded
They
South
blew them
Carolina
out.
team.
Yes.
But it's Vanderbilt, right? So we've seen Vanderbilt stub their toe,
Be Vanderbilt.
lose to teams they shouldn't lose to, and in order to shake off that, they have to look impressive, I think. Win and win decisively against Georgia State. They can't mess around.
So do you have, it sounds like you might have Vanderbilt on a slight upset alert.
I don't really see it, but I do think that it's an opportunity for Vanderbilt to distinguish itself and just get past some of the old demons that are there in that program.
Yes.
Diego Pavia certainly wants to do that.
Yes.
And can they come off the emotional high of going in and getting a rousing win
Yes.
on the road in the SEC and take care of business the next week? That's the thing.
We'll find out.
Yeah. So we got that. Here's another team. I don't think this is going to be much of a test, but LSU has Southeast Louisiana. That one's 7:45 SEC Network.
Mm-hmm.
How about this one though? It's 8 o'clock. It's on ESPN Plus, so streaming only.
Okay.
But Texas against Sam Houston.
This is interesting. Of course, Texas should win over Sam Houston. But the question is, are they going to struggle? How is Arch Manning going to come out this week?
he's the pressure is going to mount until he gets until he has a good performance against a ranked team, against a team that we think should be in that conversation with Texas, atop of college football. So really, he's not going to do too much he can't do too much to silence the critics against Sam Houston, because if he does perform well, then people are going to say, well, he should have been doing this all along. But at the very least, it gets a little of the heat off of him, because my goodness, this has just not gone well this season.
No. This poor kid.
I thought there was more room for optimism than a lot of people saw coming off of that Ohio State game, because that was a game that hinged on 2 plays.
Right.
And Arch didn't play well, but I mean, that's Ohio State, defending national champions at home. And you think, well, get some more seasoning under his belt, he'll do fine. He hasn't done fine.
Right.
So now he's just got to, respond, build back one step at a time. An opportunity against Sam Houston, but a long road ahead for Arch Manning.
And it's a great opportunity for Arch Manning to come out and score, and Texas to score, 4 or 5 touchdowns in the first half, and then sit him out in the second half. Let him rest.
Well, I don't know if if I'd sit him out. I want to see more reps from Arch Manning, because I think that's what he needs. He needs the experience. He needs to grow as a quarterback.
I don't know. I worry about injuries, though.
Well, that's always a constant, but he needs to grow, and you don't get better sitting on the bench. He's sat on the bench long enough at Texas.
That's true.
All right, so then really the last big game of the night. It is late at night. It's 11 o'clock on Fox.
That's late.
Michigan State goes to USC.
That's an interesting Big Ten game. Michigan State is not great. They're not terrible, but they certainly have. They're certainly not undefeated. So we'll find out if USC is deserving of this number 25 ranking.
Well, look, I think the Big Ten is a little bit different in that I don't think they have as much of a middle as the SEC does.
Okay.
I think these are 2 programs that should be in that middle and just really haven't distinguished themselves yet. I mean, Michigan State just has not recovered since the Mel Tucker fallout, and that is a lost program too.
Agreed.
We've seen them contend on a national stage. Going back to the first 14 playoff.
Right.
And it's night and day from that. And
absolutely.
USC, that is a school that the Big Ten, I think, counts on to thrive.
Yes.
They have not become a national contender
in many years.
For
several years.
I think, look, they got to take care of business against a program that's down. They can do it. That obviously they're going to be at home late at night.
Yes.
So if USC deserves to be a ranked team, then they have to look impressive against Michigan State.
Absolutely. So Trojan fans, make sure you stay up and watch that. And if you're on the East Coast, maybe just try to pry your eyes open somehow or get some coffee.
It's a long day. You go from games at noon to games at 11 o'clock, but that's why we love it. That's why we're
married to Saturdays.
That's right. So, if you like what you see, hit the like button, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
So, and we'll be back with more after we watch week 4 together.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.